Hey guys, found some old Tiger swings here. Was looking for them after I saw him play at the Hero tournament a couple weeks ago. And a couple things stood out to me, so figured I'd do a video. One, this is just a smooth swing. He's ripping that driver, and it just looks so darn pure. It's an old iron swing. I just have a feeling this was at Butch's place in Vegas when they were working together. We're going to look at that one pretty closely. Really good angle. Face on. Seems about the same time frame. Again, you can just see how much this swing flowed. I don't know who that is behind him. I was thinking it might be David Duval. I don't know what the heck they're doing hitting balls in a parking lot, but if I was him, I'd be watching Tiger. And this has got to be at the Masters. Just ripping driver, swings short of parallel, looks about as powerful as it could be. So, oh yeah, and one more driver down the line. Might have been a little earlier. The swing crosses the line at the top, but we're going to look at just how amazingly he used his body. These legs snapping so hard when he hits it. Obviously super stressful on his body, but a pleasure to watch nonetheless. So let's start with this down the line iron swing. Camera's not moving. Camera angle's a little off. Looks like it's sort of filming in this direction instead of down his foot line, but it'll do. Nice setup, you know, tall, arms hanging, no problem with that whatsoever. Slight knee flex, not as bent over as he eventually got in his Foley tenure. Tiger starts with his arms heading out away from him. So his hands are going to end up out here as opposed to maybe working straight up the shaft plane. So those hands are working in that direction to start. While he's doing that, keeping his right arm out in front of him, he's opening the face immediately. So what you'll see is just before left arm parallel, that toe is working towards toe up. And right after it, it's really hard to see, but this is basically toe up just past left arm parallel. So that's a lot more open than some people are today, but that's the way he did it. Left arm parallel here. If we draw the butt of the grip, let me find it. Should be right there. He's got a lot of outward movement here, first half of his downswing, as you can see. So as he gets to the top and planes the shaft about as well as you possibly could, what you'll notice is there's been no more real upward movement of the club. All the out comes early on when he externally rotates that right arm right in front of himself and opens the face. So he has an amazing ability once he externally rotates his right arm to keep it there the whole way. You'll see a lot of guys like McIlroy, they'll back up from here, pull their arm behind them. Sergio does the same thing. Tiger's one of the few guys who can just keep it right there. So, you'll also notice now he's lowered about an inch, not too much, with the head. As he starts forward, this isn't a swing that's going to shallow the shaft a ton. Shallow the shaft meaning hands are going to move, you know, downward or out towards the ball, but club head would move super this way, that would shallow it or flatten the shaft in transition. Tiger's just barely shallows. Most important thing is that it does shallow and doesn't steepen, meaning go over this way. So he's going to have a minimal amount of shallowing. A couple of reasons for that. One, this club's coming from just a little flat towards being right on the plane. When it's coming from flat of the plane onto the plane, it's hard to just immediately shallow it. That pattern makes it a little stubborn. Second thing is Tiger has a great amount of external rotation of his right arm early on in this backswing. So he's basically done making that motion when he gets to the top. Now, if the guy has his right arm more internal, his right elbow's further back, the club's probably a little steeper heading to the top, then as they externally rotate their right arm more in transition, that's when you're going to see this club head really, fly back behind them. Hogan comes to mind with that. So anyway, here we are perfectly on plane, great looking positions. He's going to rotate from the ground. He loads into the ground, you can tell by this lowering, which if you listen to announcers or some people online, you might think that's a bad thing. Well, Tiger's been doing it since 2000, well, since he was born. So I'm going to say that's just a product of his swing. Brings his club down. This club looks like it might be caught a hair behind him, but the camera angle's off. So we got to keep that in mind. If we draw the shaft here on the way into the ball, you're going to see him arc it beautifully around to the left through the hit. So not quite as low hands as maybe Hogan would have at impact, but super cool ability to rotate everything around, clear it out of the way. And if we just watch it a couple times, super pure looking, just makes sense. All right, we'll look at that face on one. This might be a hair off. This club's leaned like 6 degrees forward. I don't know if Tiger would really do that. Anyway, he's going to start this off with a kind of a total body lean off the ball. You're going to see his head, his hips, his torso, everything lean an inch or two. Very one-piece, classic Tiger takeaway. Definitely not a handsy thing. Everything's moving together. You watch the Nike logo on his chest. It's turning as soon as the club goes. Maybe the hands started just a hair, but then everything comes back together. Left arm parallel, he's in good shape. He didn't used to set this thing fully at left arm parallel. That club's a little flat right here, so it doesn't look like it's stood straight up in the air by any means. And as he finishes off his turn, you're going to see him start to dig in, grab the ground with his feet. Nice lateral motion. He's a little off the line as he starts down. He's going to end up getting few good inches of lateral motion from where he started. So that's an aggressive lateral motion combined with some really nice rotation. To me, it looks like this left arm just jammed right up against his side, against his left pec, and it's just going to stay there and respond. That's one of my biggest things I work with my students on, is that left arm or that lead arm remains passive. It just gets pulled on the way down. It does not pull on its own. So super nice, a lot of flow in that swing. I can remember watching him hit balls at Bay Hill a few times, a couple other places, and it was smooth, not a lot of wasted energy, that's for sure. So if we check out a couple of these other angles, let's see what he's up to. I like this one. Not a still camera, but we can figure it out. This is a wide looking takeaway to me. Looks like the wrists definitely aren't setting early. Club's staying well away from him. Big, 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 big shoulder turn. Club's going to stay up short of parallel. Full turn. Hips have turned back a hair. And as he's getting to the top, you know, he's loading into the ground. He's getting a little deeper. He's starting to kind of squat into it. Getting ready to rotate like crazy. So right here, his knees are squared up to the ball. And amazingly, his left arm is well above parallel to the ground. So everything else he's about to do is just gravy. Super crazy rotation. By the time he hits it, club's still behind the ball. You tell me where his hips are. It's hard to say. I would say, you know, pointed in this direction somewhere. Not at the ground, but, you know, well in front of the ball. And then this huge snap. So everything's going from being pretty flexed and rotated to very straight and rotated. And that's that up leftwards motion that we're going to see in 1 second from down the line. Amazing how much elevation he had through the hit. And you know that left knee was getting torn to pieces, but really cool to watch. I know all these people loved it. Look at this guy. Alright, last one. Not really sure on the year here. I forgot, this is not a still camera either. But we're going to see that big wide turn. Really nice position at the top. I mean, everything's in really good shape. You could say this is a hair across the line, but super short and compact. As he starts forward, you know he's loading into the ground, getting ready to rotate. You see his head dropping. He's probably flying this ball over the bunker before they moved it because of him. And as he gets down, again, I know it's not a still camera, but I'm going to just draw one line. As he's starting forward, to me, I'd say, oh no, you know, it might be early extending, coming out from under himself, getting stuck. But what he used to be able to do, a la McElroy now, but even more so, is snap those legs way out of the way. So you're going to see his head is actually going to move out over the ball even more. Yet his legs are going like that way. So that is just crazy to me. You know, this guy shows up in 97 doing this, playing against Craig Stadler and whoever. Just insane what he could do. Tiger, that is. So, anyway, that's the big cat. It's an honor to sit here and watch him and be able to talk about his swing. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And hopefully he'll be back in good shape here for 2017. Thanks, guys.